Students, faculty, and staff. So this is once again Mr. Fuller coming to you. And today for homeroom, I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to try and see how it works. All right. I miss being in the classroom at times. So I'm going to have a whole school lesson with you all today to cover something that is very important to me, and I hope will become very important to you. And it's going to be goal setting. Okay. So our lesson today is going to be about setting goals for yourself. It is always important to set goals because you want to have something that you want to accomplish. You always want to have a next step, a next rung on the ladder that you want to climb. All right, we don't ever want to be stagnant. If you're stagnant, you're moving back because somebody else is moving forward. So today we're going to talk about goal setting. Some of you may have experience with this, some of you may not, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to cover just the steps and making sure you're creating good goals. So teachers, pause as I tell you to do so. Give the students a chance to write. So students, at this time, what I want you to do is take out a scrap piece of paper. Doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to take a whole notebook. Have something to write with, and we're going to work through this process, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly. All right. So now, our first thing is we're going to talk about goal setting, okay? Our objective. Your objective is at the end of this lesson is you can list a minimum of one goal for yourself for the 2023, 2022, 2023 school year. Your goal is to be able to list a minimum of one goal for yourself for this school year. You can list more, but your goal is to list at least one. All right. So now what are our steps? Okay. So first off, I want you to take 5 minutes, and teachers, once they get done talking, take 5 minutes to write a list of things that you do well as a student. When you talk about this list, I want this to be an exhaustive list. Write down as much as you can think about things you do well. You may eat lunch well. That may be your strength. Write it down. Do you play football well? You're a student athlete. Do you write well? Do you do math well? Do you do English well? Do you do well in English class? Maybe it is you walk the halls well. Okay. Should that be something that I want on your list? Probably not. But if you think that's something you do well, write it down. Make it an exhaustive list. So take 5 minutes really quickly and write down an exhaustive list. And teachers, when everybody's done, start the video again. All right. So now we've taken 5 minutes to write down an exhaustive list of things we do well. Now I want you to write down a list of things you struggle with. Okay. We're not going to say you don't do well with, you're bad at. Things you struggle with, things that we possibly want to see improvement upon. All right, so make sure you take 5 minutes to write down a list of things that you struggle with. Now, all right, so pause the video and work on that for 5 minutes. And teachers, again, when everybody's done, start the video again. Okay, so now identify 1 to 3 things on your struggle list that you can work on improving for this school year. Take 2 minutes to do that. All right. Now, one thing about it, I had you write down your positives first, the things you do well first, because we always want to be positive. We always want to start being positive. And then some of your strengths could be used to help address some of your areas of growth. All right. So take 2 minutes and identify 1 to 3 items on your struggle list. All right. Teacher, pause the video for 2 minutes and give everybody a chance to write down, identify 1 to 3 items. And when everybody's done, we'll start the video again. All right. So now again, our objective is to have one goal for ourselves for the 2022-2023 school year. All right. So now what's next? We're going to set up our goal. Okay. I want you to write your goal. But before you start writing, ensure it is specific, it is measurable, it is attainable, it is relevant, and it is time sensitive. So what do I mean by specific? You can, if you say, I want to be a better student this year, that's not very specific. We don't know what does that mean? What does that look like? That's not very specific. So a better, more specific goal is, I want to get a B in my English class this year. because I have always gotten D's in English. I want to get a B in English class this year. So we're very specific in our goal. All right. Next, is it measurable? Again, my goal is I want to be a better student. How do you measure that? Okay, you can't measure saying that you're going to be a better student, but you can measure if you're a B student because you can look at your grades as you progress along the year and see if you are in that B range. So is it measurable? Next, is it attainable? All right, so you want to say that your goal for this year is you want to be the starting quarterback for the South Aiken Thoroughbred football team. You don't play for the team. How is that attainable? So it's got to be an attainable goal. If there's no way you can attain the goal, there's no need for you to write it down. Make sure that goal is attainable. All right. And if you have questions about if it's an attainable goal, ask your teacher. Hey, I'm thinking about I want to be in student council this year. Okay. Is that an attainable goal for me? Well, do you normally get referrals? Can't have referrals if you're in a student council. Well, no, I don't get referrals, so that's attainable. What about this? What are your grades normally? Are you a D student? Yes. Well, you might not be able to be a student council, but it still is attainable because you can improve your grades. So is it attainable? Next, is it relevant? We're writing goals for the school year. And you say, you know what? I want to get a job this year. No, we're talking about the school year. That's not relevant to what we're doing here in school per se. Okay. So it's got to be relevant to school. Next, time sensitive. Going back to my goal, I want to be a better student. When do you want to be a better student? If you say I want to have a B in my English class by the end of the school year, we know we have until June to get that B. So make sure that goal is also time sensitive. So take 5 minutes and write down your SMART goal. Okay. Now, also, actually, before we get started, before I tell you to do all that, I missed a step. So when we talk about doing that SMART goal, couple more things. One, identify other factors that pertain to your goal. Okay. Will you need assistance from someone else to achieve your goal? Have you enlisted their help? So if you're writing down a SMART goal, but someone else is going to need to help you with that goal, you need to make sure you talk to them before you set that goal. All right. How will you know you're progressing? Again, going back to being a B student, making a B in my English class by the end of the school year. How will you know you're progressing? You can look at your interim reports. You can look at your 9 weeks report. You can look at your semester grades. You can look at your test grades. How will you know you're progressing? Do you have a plan to progress monitor your progress, your goal? Maybe your goal is, hey, last year I was late. I missed 35 days of school. This year I want to miss no more than 5. By the end of the school year, I want to have missed no more than 5 days. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's time sensitive. Okay, so how do you know you're making progress? You missed 4 days and it's the first week of school. You haven't been here. The second week of school, you haven't been here 4 out of 10 days. You know what? You're not making progress. So how will you measure your progress? Next, do you have a method to monitor your progress? All right. So now take 5 minutes to write that one goal. You can write more, but I'm asking you to write one goal. Take 5 minutes. All right. So next up. So our goal, our objective is to write a minimum of one goal for yourself for the 2022-2023 school year. So where are we at now? I want you to review your SMART goal. You've written it out. And again, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Is it relevant? Is it time sensitive? Okay. Now, what are you going to do with that goal? This is where you can make a decision. Maybe it's a personal goal. You want to keep it for yourself. You can keep it to yourself, or you can give it to your teacher. All right. You can keep it for yourself, or you can give it to your teacher. You can do either one. Okay. But understand this. We are going to come back as a school and review your progress together through this same process in December. Now, like I said, this process may or may not work very well, but we're trying something a little different. So we're going to try and look at your progress. And if you want to tell me what your goal is, I'll be glad to hear. Okay? So we're going to review your progress again in December through homeroom to see how we're doing. All right. Now, once again, if you feel comfortable writing more, you can do so. But remember, you're not writing them just to write. You are writing them to accomplish. You are writing your goals to accomplish. That's why that attainable is important. You're writing it to accomplish. If you're writing 10 different goals and you don't accomplish any of them, it was a wasted exercise. You are writing to accomplish. So make sure you're putting your focus on accomplishing that goal. Okay? So now, finish up again. Our goal at this point in time, we should have one goal for ourselves for the 2022-2023 school year. Start this habit of setting goals for yourself. Always have a next step. Always have a wrong. Always look to be better. Okay? Because we talk about every thoroughbred, every day, all means all. Achieving, learning, leading. All right? You have to have goals for yourself. Because you don't want to be stagnant. Because if you're stagnant, you're moving back because somebody else is moving forward. Now, if you're moving forward, if somebody else takes 5 steps and you take 1, do not compare yourself. I said this in my graduation speech last year. Comparing yourselves among yourselves is not wise. Okay? Somebody else may be stronger in this area. As long as you take 1 step, they take 10, you are still making progress because later on down the line, they may take 1 step and you may take 10. Okay? But set a goal, work towards it, work that goal, and we'll see where we are in December. Every thoroughbred, every day, all means all.